So, oh, that's fair. Man's best friend. A partner as loyal as time. Some would say we couldn't have possibly made it this far unless we had the existence or the help of these animals, of these wild beasts that found a common ground and built a symbiotic, mutually beneficial relationship which would be forever known as man's best friend. Goddamn right I'm talking about dogs. Man, fucking love dogs. And it's every dog is its own thing, right? They have personality, they have characters. You even the same dog can represent something completely different to two different people, right? They'll they'll act like a guard dog can be one person's like bodyguard while it could also be the other person's like, medical bills. But regardless, when you see an animal, when you go out into nature, right? And when you just kind of have a chance to interact with these creatures, at least in my humble opinion, it's almost like the gift in itself is that you're not associating with your own species. Like you're able to interact with them in a completely different language where you both don't understand, but as time progresses and the more that you care about, and if the more gym badges you earn, then yeah, you start building this trust, this relationship, this sense of partnership. So, what we have done here in a little cool movie called Good Boy is essentially we've taken the horror elements and we put a dog as a main character. And then we make millions. 'Cause yes, everything that kind of tickles you in terms of horror, those kind of suspenseful moments that get you curious, or they start making you imagine, or you start hyper fixation on like, what could this be? What is going on? What is the explanation to this phantasmic scenario? And you get all that, but now you have to sort of imprint these emotions onto this languageless animal. And it works. It really, really works. So there's a couple things to know about this one. First of all, number one, this was a movie made by a guy and his wife and their dog. So yes, they're all actually, family members. They all actually know each other. He's not a famous dog. He's not an actor. What they did though, and if you stick around for the end credit scene, he'll explain it. There's like a little explanation video of how they essentially got the dog to mimic emotions by having him just be himself. The guy and his wife knew what their dog was, how he reacts, how he just likes to be. So they took all those characteristics and they used it to their advantage to really bring out these close-ups that really make you feel like the dog is going through something, even though you know that the dog is just there. And maybe that is the beauty, the idea that even though we don't come from the same genetics, even if we don't even operate on the same four legs, there's understanding. You can find understanding with a creature that can't even express themselves in your language. And that in itself is the gift. At least in my brain. But yeah, you see this dog, you see a lot of things happening, you're trying to understand why this is sort of starting to kick in. What specifically is the monster that we're dealing with here? And without getting too into it, I'm fairly sure the movie itself is very straightforward as to what it's trying to represent. It's up to the person, or it could always just be me imagining things and all that. But if I really had to put my finger on the trigger, I would have to say that this is a story about the horror, the horrific events, the emotions, the reactions, right? That man's best friend has to go through because of how loyal they are. Simply putting it. Simply putting it. And it's honestly, it's pretty dramatic, like pretty emotionally dramatic. And that's something that I wasn't really expecting from a dog movie. Or sorry, yes, from a dog movie, but no, from a horror movie. And if I can be frank, there were tears. Not mine, maybe. But there were moments in this that you just, I think what it does beautifully is that you spend the movie with the dog. You're there hanging out, you're there trying to like vibe with them. The dog and the owner, right? The owner does his best to be a good owner, they show just how much they've grown together, and it shows their bond. So when you start noticing things are going up with the neighbor, whether that be a supernatural element or whether that be specific life events that are kind of ebbing away at his personality, you start to root for this underdog, obviously, but you start to really hope for the better, because there's nothing wrong with this dog. He's just a good boy. And just seeing them react to things that we react to had us really connect with that dog on an emotional level, that when we get to the finale, when we get to the big review, or when we get to the big climactic moment, it really makes sense, and it kicks in, and you're just there, and you have to live with that. And that is a true horror. But regardless, Good Boy is pretty damn good. And yeah, it's gonna be one of those things. It's fairly slow, I think, purposely so. It feels very almost methodical, but it feels like it fits in the life of a dog. Does that make sense? Because first and foremost, we are in perspective of a dog. At least that's what it feels like. So jumping into these moments and just going through the literal emotions, it sort of feels right. And so you're just so engrossed in that emotional wave that, yeah, when things are starting to go bump in the night, and when you're starting to get all anxious, and emotions are high and all this stuff, and then yeah, you just have to look at this dog, this poor little dog, and hope that everything's gonna be okay. So if you have any pets, I would recommend it. If you really love your pet, I probably wouldn't recommend it, because it really gets to you. At least it gets to me. But yeah, and if you just want to like feel something, if you just want to feel alive for like a good an hour and a half, you should watch this. It'll bring you back. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is man's best friend. What a good boy. What a good boy. But wait. Do I have it? Do I have it? Can I use this? There's more. Because, whew, what a guy. What if I told you people are kind of weird? See, you can live your life, right? You could hypothetically, obviously it depends on your financial situation, depends on your familial status. Hypothetically though, you could do whatever you want with your life, assuming that there's not a government that's harassing you to pay the minimum taxes, so you're constantly stuck at work every single day. You could do whatever you want with your life. You know, you could invest, you could learn an instrument, you can learn how to skateboard, you can do X amount of things. So what if I told you that all these people with Airbnbs, all these people with all these resources, what if I told you that that wasn't enough? That somehow in this universe where people, I'll be real with you, I'll level with you, right now people are not having a great time. What's been going on in terms of economical status? I know groceries are up, everything is up pretty much, right? Inflation is an all-time high. Drum food, doesn't matter, irrelevant. There's too much going on. Let's get sidetracked. But after having all this, right? There's this emptiness, this pitch black hole where everything that they throw at, you know, money, drugs, alcohol, it's not enough. There's something missing, and they just can't figure out what it is. So we gamble. And gamble it is, because everybody knows that when you rent an Airbnb, you just gotta hope for the best. You know, I don't want to say what can happen, but like at the end of the day, like it's just, you're walking into a stranger's home. You've never been there before. You do not know what is behind those doors. And, you know, is it a little, what's the word? Psychopathic? No, psychosis? Of me to just state that, like, you shouldn't trust Airbnbs? Maybe a little bit. We all come from different backgrounds. However, when this unfortunate couple decides to rent an Airbnb with one of those weekend moments alone, right? You know, one of those like, oh shit, we need to work on a relationship, dog. Need a week alone, okay. When they decide to rent an Airbnb, lo and behold, the Airbnb guy said, nah man, I need more money. I need my money now. And he double books him. He double books a house, right? So now you're stuck with two couples going like, man, we need to work on a relationship, dog. But now there's couples here. And so it makes things a little bit interesting, right? Obviously you're kind of like trying to gel with each other, even though you don't really want to gel with each other. They call that small talk. I'm not a big fan of small talk. And I like big talk. And these guys are kind of like back and forth trying to be like, they're kind of weird, man, right? They're kind of cool, I don't know. And so you get this weird vibe of these four people that are out there, and they're trying to have a good time, and things are cool, and things are kind of weird sometimes. You ever go out with like people, or like you ever meet somebody's friend or someone's acquaintance, and they just say something strange, and you just look at them like, did you mean to say that? Or is there something you need to tell us? and you just don't know, you know? So it's in those things that everyone has their opinions, right? Everyone's gonna have a different interaction, just like a person interacting with their dog versus a person interacting with the body dog, the guard dog. And then those opposing people, just posing in a manner of just, oh, hey, you're on the other side, are naturally gonna do their best to present themselves in a admirable way. Yes, yes. You know, just try and be nice, try to be cool, and like, hey, don't be a dick. There you go. Thanks. Society 101. And in these moments, you start picking up, you start noticing things. You start feeling the manipulation. Woo! Big words. But yeah. And that is one of the words are powerful. If you don't know, well, now you know. Words are powerful AF. The only thing is that you need to know how to use them, right? We call that reading. iPad babies. So when these certain phrases, when these implications, when certain words are brought up in conversations, things start to kind of blare out, you know? It's like the red flags. Y'all hear about those? Yes. And you know, you'll hear the red flags, you'll see things, and then maybe you'll be like, oh, that's why you asked. That's why you asked. Like, did you really mean to say that, or was there something else you were trying to tell us or whatever? Because you want to give them a chance before you go, oh, hell no, we are done, you are out, and I need you to leave right now, or I will remove myself from the equation, and or we need to fix this, or, you know, whatever. So manipulation is one hell of a drug. It's if you know who you are, if you're able to like pull out your mental DNA, your mental composition, and like firmly understand that composition and lock that within yourself, hypothetically, nothing can shake your ego. Not ego as in like, oh, look at me. Ego as in like, this is who I am. This is what I believe in. This is what I represent. This is who I want to be. These are the steps that I need to take to get there. And this is what I want to believe. Ego, what do I represent? Positive ego, healthy ego. And when someone tells you, hey man, I think your boyfriend's cheating on you, or hey man, I heard your girlfriend tell me that you're doing things, or blah blah, or maybe like you're not good enough for this, or like X amount of things, right? And you're hearing it from someone that you've just met, that's when the flags should go flying. And yes, we're gonna get a little bit of a close to the pulse, but things start happening, things start escalating, and things start getting weird. It really becomes like this interesting, like almost battle for the soul, right? Okay, fun side note. We recently got to watch the Rocky Horror Picture Show on the Dolby screen, because that was like the 50th anniversary or some shit like that. Good damn. And where's I going with this? And Rocky Horror Picture Show, where everyone's just kind of like, I had a good one, I can't really think about it. And everyone's just kind of like, the point of Rocky Horror Picture Show is that people suck. These two, what are they called? They just got engaged, fiancés. They take a trip and they meet people, and then people start hitting on each other, and then you go like, damn bro, you just banged my fiance, and everybody's guilty. That is Rocky Horror Picture Show. So that kind of manipulation, that kind of nasty jumbleness, I mean, it could be beautiful if you really want it to be, but when it's being manipulative and toxic as fuck, that is disgusting. And I just can't deal with manipulative words like that. Yeah. So this is all going down. These people are trying to figure this one out, and it's this really tense moment between the main couple, going like, "Did you? Did you? Can I trust you? Like, what's it's yeah." And that kind of becomes the whole situation, right? That I believe we call them instigators, people who are just like throwing in stuff to like rile people up or whatever, or get certain people on a certain emotional wavelength or whatever you want to call it. But these guys are good at it apparently, because they're able to really push the two main characters against each other to a certain point where you start worrying. And honestly, I think it says a lot more about me than most people. But you know, I just didn't think that things were gonna be okay between them, and that made me feel bad. And it was just interesting to see them like going through the emotions and seeing where we ended up at the end of the whole journey. And by the time we get to the end and revelations happen, and we get the full picture as to what is going on, who is this, what are we doing here, why would you do such a thing, can't believe you done this, it makes sense, you know. And I'll be real with you too, there's more notes that kind of like, whoa, these guys didn't have to go that far, but they said fuck it, we'll go the extra mile. And you know what, I guess it checks out. So, creepy scenarios in terms of like this weird tension of like, who are you right now, and why are you suddenly acting so like predatory, and just moments of like, damn, that's my girl should be cheating on me, man, and I can't believe you done this. But yeah, it just I don't know, man. I think you just have to watch this movie on like in your own terms, and whatever emotions you get from essentially the NTR-ness of this film, then yeah, I think it'll tell you a lot about yourself. And I learned a couple of things about myself. I already knew most things, but I learned a bit more about myself. Learn a bit more every day. And I hope that these two young lovebirds can learn to forgive each other. Because yeah, man, relationships are cool. Relationships are really, really cool if you, but relationships are cool, but they only get to be that cool once you put in a shitload of effort on both sides. And if you can find that, right? If you can find if you can find the Taylor Swift to the Travis Scott or whatever his name is, you know, I just saw a clip on Jimmy Fallon, just the idea that she looks at him, her words, not mine. She looks at him and she smiles and she goes like, oh, I get to hang out with this person for the rest of my life. He's fun, he's just this person that brings joy to my life. And when I see him and when I look at the ring, I feel like, oh my God, this is my future. And that is a positive. And I can only wish, or I can only hope to God that we all find that somewhere in the universe. But we all know that this is reality. And reality can get a little bit spiffy. So things happen. Biology is a very real thing in terms of how your how our brains operate and how our lizard brains influence certain people to do certain things or act in a certain way. And while these things are very detrimental to the relationship itself, when you can find that mid ground of putting in the effort and receiving that effort and giving a little bit extra just because you want to, and then who knows, maybe somewhere down the line they give in a little bit more than a little bit of extra because they really, really want to. And then hypothetically, that just becomes a companionship, a partnership, a relationship that you can actually believe in, right? Not just be with someone, but you're actually with someone in mind, body, and soul. And yeah, it's I haven't done it. I haven't gotten to that point yet, but I mean, I feel like I've been close. But, you know, we're always learning, and that has to also be part of, like, what do I learn? What is the lesson in this relationship? Whether it be that, oh, now we know that certain people act certain ways when they're doing certain things, or, oh, wow, I finally understand what it means to be in a content relationship, or in a partnership, let's call it even better, to be in a happy partnership. And like, I'm learning every day to how to maintain that, or how to encourage my partner to feel good about this, or feel the same way, or, you know, just fun little things. But yes, things get complicated. The horror-ish is horroring. It's nothing intense like, whoa, there's this Michael Myers boogeyman. But, you know, things get exciting towards the ending, and mistakes were made. But hopefully not between them, because we love a happy ending. And speaking of happy endings, what did I do? We're getting close to the end. What the fuck is this? There you go. What the fuck is this? There you go. Just went through the whole thing for no damn reason. Yosh. Put you here. Wait. Ah. Mark care. Mark care. Mark cares. Mark really cares, okay? Who is that? Motherfudgers. Have you ever heard of the UFC? The Ultimate Fighting Championship? Just kidding. Let me tell you. Back in my youth, no. It was unregulated, but champions were champions, damn it. And the original champions is one Mark Kerr and his homie, I already forgot his name. But those two were essentially the pioneers of mixed martial arts in the octagon ring. And you see the story of just this guy who comes from his wrestling lineage. He's an all-American wrestler. I've known a couple of wrestlers in my whole life. And he comes out there, he's trying to do something, he's trying to get his name out there, he's trying to just be like the guy. You know, he has a dream, he has to enjoy the sport that he does, which is the octagon wrestling, UFC. It is a very hard thing to do, to put yourself and your body to such a grueling state on a constant schedule, to force yourself to eat only specific proteinized items, to keep yourself on a schedule when it comes to your lifestyle, your food style. Everything that you do just comes down to being this mechanical, methodic, boring mess, or non-mess, you know what I mean? I like a little chaos in my life, I guess. And it says something. It says something about the person that can keep that going. You know, someone that puts in the work, someone who wakes up in the morning, someone who stays up late at night, someone who's lifting every single day at the gym, someone who's learning his techniques when it comes to martial arts. All these things, they add up, right? When they say that you only master a skill after, what is it, 100 hours or 1,000 hours or a million hours, it is just the idea of getting in there, doing it, and keep doing it. Motivation is one of the, I think, the most underrated things in this universe, because without that actual desire to make a change, without a desire to express something, without a care, without even a desire to give a shit, nothing happens. And without actual wants, humane needs, there can be no passion. So when you see the man spending his life, taking those hits, curling those irons, guy's got something to work for. And this is it. This was it. The UFC. It's not even an octagon yet. It's still a square. That is how early this is. And here's the thing, man. People are great. Remember how we started this episode? People are great. Essentially, that means that every person in this universe has an opportunity to do something they love. Flat out. You can be a gardener. You can be a barista. You can go work at Not Scary Farm and be one of those nasty guys. I know a guy. He does that. He loves it. And these people who are willing to give it all, who are willing to do it, you know, like they naturally deserve some praise. It's no easy feat to just keep on committing yourself to it and to just sticking with it. So it's cool that they finally came around to give this guy his story, right? Because the story of the man who never quite made it, the man that was there on multiple occasions, but for some strange reason, he just couldn't make it past that finish line. And why? Why, you might ask? There's a whole movie based on him. Why would we talk about this guy right now in today's era if he's never been a champion? Well, what if I told you Emily Blunt, yes, John Krasinski's wife. God damn, I don't even know where to start with this one. She's a character. Okay, start off there. So, okay, I'll start off by saying this. I just actually recently saw the movie, Die Again Tomorrow? No. Shoot. It's a Tom Cruise movie with Emily Blunt, and it's based on the actual manga called Kill. All You Need Is Kill. That's the manga is based off of. But Tom Cruise, again, how Tom Cruise is the last samurai guy who gets all the Japanese stuff and makes movies out of it. Top Gun, Lupin the Third, Mission Impossible. Top Gun was what army was that? Anyways, any other platoon movie. The Last Samurai, and now Tom Cruise. Oh, and now we have. Wait, what the fuck? I lost myself. Emily Blunt. What the hell was the relationship between Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt? Oh, fuck me. Oh my god. So the movie with Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt. Okay. Movie was cool, right? It kind of did something for me in terms of the Emily Blunt character. I'll be real with you. I'll level with you. Something happened that like I just really wasn't into her. Like for some reason, John Krasinski not being, or I guess watching her be, okay. Watching her be in the movie, the second one, A Quiet Place 2, and then not having John Krasinski be there, even though that's John Krasinski's own writing movie, Peace Baby thingy, kind of gave me like PTSD of like The Last of Us and how they did things to Joel, and then you have to play the second game and you just have to play it as it is. And I think that kind of rekindled some PTSD of that. So since that movie came out, A Quiet Place 2 with Emily Blunt, I've low-key have been an Emily Blunt disliker. I'm not gonna say a hater, because I don't really, it's a waste of time to hate things, or people in general. But I was not into Emily Blunt like that as an actress, right? And then she was cool. She was actually cool in the one with Gosling, was it? The Fall Guy, which was actually a really cute movie with him. But still, it wasn't until like seeing her in Tom Cruise, maybe pre super big actress era, that she kind of came back as okay in my book. I think I was able to piece it together of who she was, what she went through, and now where she's at now. And seeing that made me be like, okay, she's a human. Let it go, or be cool about it. Movies, man, are you fucking kidding? And then she comes out in this movie looking straight up like some Italian goth freaking waifu shit. And I'm just like, oh my God, who is that? And again, normally I don't really have visceral reactions like that. I feel like I have more than enough control of myself and my mindsets and blah, 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 blah. But the fact that she popped up looking like that, and my brain was not, like, I've seen this trailer for months and I've never fucking paid attention to Emily Blunt. But seeing her actually in the movie and act out and just present this character was like, whoa, okay, emotions, relax yourself. So the question was, how is it that one of the original greatest, the man who has stood at that platform on 3 occasions, almost to be the best of the best, why didn't they do it? What happened? This movie is called The Smashing Machine. And while you look at The Rock and you go like, oh yeah, he's a guy that punches in UFC. That's The Smashing Machine, The Rock, of course. When you get in a relationship, when you decide to share your timeline, your life force, your time with a human being, it's very important that you choose someone, right? I choose you. You find/you choose someone that holds the same values that you do. And I believe that's the only way you can really say it. Because you can like the same things, but you can have different opinions about what they make you feel. And you can present yourself in a way that like you care, but at the same time, if your actions are speaking louder than your words, then you already know how you feel. Everybody knows how you feel. It's just a matter of being honest. Communication, relationships. So sometimes, and I would say a good amount of times, I think that happens naturally to a couple of people, and this is where the communication really comes into play. The idea that your partner can be doing so well in life, like, like, I don't know, like hitting, I don't even fucking know where to begin. Striking a sell, making a contract, signing a contract, friggin' opening a business, outselling all the cupcakes in the business in the store, whatever it is, right? Your partner can begin to become successful, and that should be great. That is great, hypothetically, depending on what they're doing. Don't want to be selling drugs out there, but somehow, for some people, it's harder to feel happy about your partner's success. And I think that just happens naturally to everybody, but it's mostly of a dedication of how long are you going to feel that way? In terms of like, why not support instead of feeling the distance, right? And I think that might be it too. That at a certain point you feel that distance start of like happening, that gap that grows through success, and either some people can like freak out in terms of like, oh no, what are you doing? Why are you acting this way? You're different now. Blah 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 blah. Or some people might freak out the other way and be like, freak out the first way, try to preserve his relationship by making the other person feel bad, while another group of people might react in a way that makes them go like, oh no, I need to go. Like I can't do this. I need to go. And that is a delicate balance, because depending on what you pick, right, on who you find, who you choose, you can either be in your most vulnerable moments alone, or you can be stuck in the room with the craziest person in your most vulnerable moment, while they're having their own vulnerable moment, while you're going like, woman, I need to do my job. Why can't you let me go do my job? When you realize that this person needs this for some nasty emotional reason. Some people, they might not even know they do this. It's psychological to some point, lizard brain bullshit activity, and I'm not a woman, so I can't really speak to what emotions fly in there with those certain chemicals in that brain set. So to say that when this guy is on the most important moments of his career, defining moments that could either make or break his ass, and then she has to bust out a Karen and make him feel bad right before every fight. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the smashing machine. Imagine spending your life dedicating everything, every waking moment for one outcome, only to make it there because you know you got this. You know you're good enough. But to let it go by choice. Not because it was just taken from you, but because they smashed him. So, yeah, this is an emotional ass movie. This man went through addiction, opioids. It's a way of not feeling pain. It's one of the things that we used to give our soldiers in the military, but we completely stopped after we realized just how addictive it really is. And yeah, this dude who spends his life freaking destroying his muscles so they can rebuild bigger and stronger, and spends his weekends throwing people across a Japanese mat, he was in a lot of pain. And you know, it's not fucking far be it from me to be like, oh, you shouldn't be distracting yourself with these drugs. But you know, it's to each their own, not in terms of like, oh, go do whatever you want. It's to each their own, that everyone is dealing with something. Everyone has something that they are striving for, but they don't, they either don't have the support that they need, or they just don't feel comfortable being supported, or they found their own mechanism that works, that isn't perfect, that can actually be damaging to your own system and health, but it works. So we'll keep on doing it. But yeah, this guy who really had a lot going for him, and to see him break, you know, to see him really go through all those emotions, the highest highs, the lowest lows, and then to have to like really navigate through those moments in life, and to even have to make certain decisions that really impacts your future. And you know, even understanding that these guys probably didn't get paid in what they were deserved, honestly, because they were out there in Japan trying to promote themselves, because UFC was still trying to get its legs on the ground. And they did a lot of fights pro bono because they just were trying to get in there. And yeah, man, just this movie, just why now? You know, you look at this and you think, oh, this is gonna be this ultimate UFC fight. We're gonna get the biggest fight. We're gonna have the badass like ending and blah 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 blah. It's gonna be Rocky, but with the Dwayne the Johnson. Yes, I said that. And it's not. Nor does it have to be. Nor did I need it to be. Because yeah, there is a lot of heart in this. And I don't know if The Rock's gonna win the Oscar for this. I know he's trying. I think he did a great job portraying the actions. I don't know if I would say he's like Batista level acting, you know what I mean? But the man knows how to feel. I'll put it that way. I believe that after decades of being The Rock, after, what was it, has it been 10 years now? After like a full decade of just building fucking mass and bulking up just for people to be like, Rock, it doesn't look good anymore. Like, if The Rock has not been able to act, then that man busted out the method acting and he actually gave a portrayal of someone who's just doing their best. Really, 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 at the end of the day, just doing their best. Because he's not a rude guy. He's not an asshole in the movie. He's not that. He's not out there going like, "Oh, I'm gonna crush you," blah blah blah. But you know, he's just there. He's living his life. He's trying to do his best, and well, that's also the way the cookie crumbles. I meant to say c'est la vie, but I could use a cookie right about now. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that's been our 3 movies of the week. Good Boy, the Bones, what is it? Bone Lake, and The Smashing Machine. In order, Good Boy, so good. Smashing Machine, and the Bones Lake. So between those 3, I really hope that you have some free time to go check them out. If you have checked them out, I would ask, what did we think? Good Boy, is he good? He's the best boy. I'm not gonna spoil any, no spoilers please, but like, the fact that we have a dog as the main actor of a horror film. Let's go. Let's go. We made it, fam. So we'll see, man, because this, what happens if we have a cat being in a scary, you know what I mean? Like, we could just do so much shit with this, and it could be either the coolest thing or it could be the dumbest thing, and we'll have to wait and see, but I'm excited. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see if people start doing more like animal movies, because I think we had that Strays movie with what's his face, William Ferrell. Yeah, Will Ferrell. So I think that's kind of where that initiated, and then the Secret Lives of Pets is where the animated stuff happened. So I don't know, man. I feel like we're in an interesting time, man. Like, if people want to get creative with their cinematography, like if this guy and his wife can make a whole hour-and-a-half movie in their house by themselves, we're in a good place. I think we got some exciting things in our futures to look forward to. At least I would hope to. And yeah, when it comes to everything else, it is gonna be spooky season. I think things are gonna get spookier. I don't know. And taste it. Na, 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 na. And we're just gonna keep an eye on things and see how things go. Man, Tron is out this week. It's gonna suck. I'm still gonna watch. I'll be there. You know, I want to see it in 3D. I at least want to watch the IMAX 3D version so I can see all the beams. But we'll see what we talk about in the future. I got a couple of things. Actually, fun update. The 9th is where I got an update saying that apparently they're gonna go check the internet connectivity operation systems in the house. And hypothetically, that means that by Thursday, hypothetically, I should be back in business with like everything. The capabilities, my bad. I should be good to go to launch things. And yeah, we'll just keep an eye on that and see how we present it. It's a lot of things. It's like, the backlog is backlogging, and now I'm trying to figure out how to present things in a certain way that will work out for everybody, and that's fun. But I'm also starting to dip a lot into this, and like, I want to learn. The whole thing about this channel is like learning how to do things and just doing it. You know, I want to learn through experience, and I teach myself by just figuring things out, and that's fun. But things are getting expensive, man. And that's just something that I have to honestly have to think about and look at and be like, well, do I really need this, or do I really want to do this? Or it gets interesting, you know, and those are questions I have to ask myself. Naturally, I just want to be in a surplusive state where one is able to just probably take a step back and actually do things that will open up new doors in terms of like actually learning things and all that. But for me, I enjoy just chilling out, hanging out, being like this. I'm more than okay spending time doing fun things, playing video games, or just learning music and songs and stuff, playing music in general. I love music so much, but there's not that much time in the universe, right? And to be able to dedicate time to these things means a lot to me. But you know, obviously, in the back of my brain, I just constantly always feel like I could be doing more for, like, not just myself, but like future-proofing things. There's a lot in the future. There's a lot of things happening right now that like are unnerving, to put it in simple terms, about the future. and how things are going to be presented and things are going to play out. And for the most part, I'm just here trying to be like something that can be looked at in retrospect and be like, oh, people actually gave a shit, or people actually tried, or people actually had brains back then. And that's all it's ever really been. So, you guys want to watch the screens? You can watch the screens. Like, yeah. So yes, well, wait, that's what it was. As you can tell, we've been busy in terms of like just moving things around, and I didn't know how I wanted to present this one specifically because I knew this was gonna be here, but I figured that if I can make it look semi-natural or normal with this obnoxious thing, then maybe I don't have to continue pushing shit back and forth, which is one of my biggest deterrents when it comes to actually creating content, because I have to move so much shit just to get things up and running, and by the time things are up and running, like sometimes it just doesn't feel right anymore or whatever, or like all the energy has been spent up. And if I could change one thing about this, it would definitely have to be like having actual time to sit down and do specific task or organizations, or even just being able to know that like I've had enough sleep to actually not feel like crap if I want to play something or whatever. And yeah, man, it's gonna be one of those things. So we'll start with Thursday. I was actually gonna pay for the shit right now, but I stopped myself because I figured might as well just wait till the day and see what they can handle before I start like throwing everything I can at the network and all that. So we'll see. I'm looking into it. I'll be fine. I'm just, and yeah, things are gonna be busier on my end as well. Obviously, we have games. Ghost of Tsushima is there. Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 is there, and like I would love to just sit down and play through those things. But if I can be 1000% honest with you, man, there is so much happening in this universe right now that I can't really just sit down and pretend that things are okay. I just can't. I could if I really, 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 really wanted to, but there's already enough of that in this universe, and there's things that I need to do, or things that need to be done that not enough people are doing. And you know, I'm not gonna be like, oh, everybody go out and change your profile picture into a paperclip. Go, Clippy for the win. But you know, honestly though, respect to the homie for actually like putting in that effort and putting that step forward and encouraging other people to be like that. And I would say that that is an inspiration. That is the type of guy that he's a little iffy sometimes in terms of like how he presents things, but I still give the guy the benefit of the doubt that it comes from a good place, and he actually is trying to make things normalized in terms of like, oh, this makes sense. It's not just some corporate BS, but it makes sense. And while there are enough people in the universe doing enough fun things and like, you know, giving their own versions of the fun things that I want to do, at a certain point it's like, okay, well, there's enough of that going on, and I'm okay with that. That's fine, you know. But you know, if there's ever something that I know I want to do, then I will do it, whether that be playing Super Mario on the Switch, or whether that be taking off to go watch a movie that turns out is only airing for this one day or whatever. And yeah, that's my philosophy, honestly. That's my way of life. I don't like planning anything because A, it could always just blow up in your face, or B, it could not be as good as you want it to be. So while I do like to have a vague plan of where I want to be and how we can get there, I don't ever want to be like, okay, I gotta get up at 9 a.m. and I gotta do all this shit, and then I got 10 p.m. No, I just want to live. I want to experience life the best way that I can, and honestly, I feel like I've done that. There's only a few things on my bucket list that I'm actually considering, but for everything else, I've lived a life, and I've been lucky enough to experience um, ex- experiences and like moments that really brought everything together and made me feel like, oh, this is what it means to be alive, or this is life, and this is what we have to do with that. And yeah, so the best I can do is sit here, put on a pretty face, and hope that you are all having a fun, beautiful week. You guys are being taken care of. If someone out there is celebrating some fun, exciting celebration, that I hope that you really enjoy that and you were able to just feel appreciated, right? Because I know a lot of people put work out there, and I know a lot of people are going through things that they will never talk about. So for now, I just want to say thank you. Please take care. I love you. Go, go be a good boy or good girl, baby girl. But until then, hasta la próxima. Forza Horizon, baby. Ya. Mátane.